In a shipyard where giant ships rest and industrial machinery hums, a tiny 3-month-old kitten was discovered covered in thick gray gunk. This little warrior named Captain was about to embark on the fight of his life. Captain wasn't just dirty when Katie found him. He was emaciated, struggling to breathe, and covered in looked like tar or industrial waste.
What is this? My guy, what is all over you? Yeah, this is not normal. He fell into something. His ears are absolutely, I don't know if you guys can see, but the inside of his ears are black. I mean, it looks like he fell into a vat of some kind of waste material, maybe, or like oil. It doesn't feel like it's like calcified onto his skin and into his fur. Maybe it was tar.
His 2 littermates were somewhere in that shipyard too, but in much better shape and impossible to find that day. The vet visit revealed the extent of Captain's troubles. He had a severe upper respiratory infection, an ear infection, and was so weak he couldn't eat on his own. Katie became his lifeline, syringe feeding him and giving him IV fluids at home. As the antibiotics kicked in, Captain's personality began to emerge, and what a personality it was. This little guy had one very specific talent that would become his trademark, making biscuits. Not just any biscuits, but constant, obsessive, never-ending biscuit making that would put professional bakers to shame. His tiny paws would need everything in sight. Katie watched in amazement as this formerly feral kitten showed nothing but trust and affection. He would curl up on his heating pad, purring despite his struggles, as if he somehow knew he was finally safe. Things took a serious turn when Captain's condition wasn't improving as expected. The diagnosis was devastating. FIP, feline infectious peritonitis, a disease that until recently was considered a death sentence. But Captain was at least lucky enough to be sick at the time when an FDA-approved treatment had finally become available. The medication that had once existed only on the black market was now legal and accessible. Within days of starting the FIP treatment, Captain showed significant improvement. For the first time, Katie could pick him up and he didn't feel like skin and bones, and he was finally eating on his own. His biscuit-making skills remained as impressive as ever, because apparently some things never change. But Captain's story had more twists. The FIP had attacked his brain, causing neurological symptoms that made him quite different from other kittens. He would get lost in familiar places, play for only short bursts, and walk with a slight wobble. Most puzzling of all, he seemed to forget how to eat properly. He'd try to take a bite, but couldn't figure out the whole chew and swallow process. As if his neurological challenges weren't enough, Captain developed a rather comical dental situation. His adult teeth were coming in, but his baby teeth refused to fall out, creating a mouth so crowded with teeth that it hung open constantly. He looked like a tiny, perpetually surprised vampire kitten. Despite weeks of treatment, he remained severely underweight at just under 3 pounds, with constant congestion and cognitive delays. The FIP medication should have helped more, so something else was going on, something the regular vet couldn't figure out. The breakthrough came when Captain was diagnosed with Pituitary Dwarfism, an incredibly rare condition in cats. His pituitary gland wasn't producing enough growth hormone, explaining his tiny size, unusual proportions, and cognitive delays. Captain was essentially a forever kitten, destined to remain his current size and mental capacity for life. But here's the thing about Captain. He didn't know he was supposed to be discouraged by his diagnosis. He continued making his endless biscuits, purring when he felt good, and showing affection to everyone around him. When Kitty introduced him to other kittens, Captain's quality of life improved dramatically. He finally had friends to play with, even if his play sessions were shorter and wobblier than most. Despite everything he'd endured, from being covered in industrial waste to fighting a brain infection to being permanently disabled, Captain remained trusting and loving. He may be small, he may be wonky, and he may never stop making those biscuits. But thanks to Katie, Captain has found his happy ending, one tiny paw need at a time. In a world full of ordinary cats, Captain chose to be extraordinary, not despite his challenges, but because of how he faces them.